Hello, I'm Chucky J, and I did in fact get the Xbox One Project Scorpio edition. Been looking forward to this for quite a while. I don't have everything that will benefit from this. I don't have 4K HDR yet. I'm actually in this, recording slash streaming setup here. So someday I will get a 4K HDR gaming monitor. And someday I will get a 4K recording device, stuff like that. But what they've done here is really pretty amazing. It's still super powerful even if you don't have all those things. They've upped the processor, they've upped the graphics, they've upped the RAM significantly, and it's just way more powerful than the Xbox One original that I'm sitting next to here, and even more powerful than the PS4 Pro, which came out last year, maybe 2 years ago. Last year, I think. So they've done some really amazing things. Like they've tweaked the processor to take care of some little issues that games have been having. That's one of the nice things about this not being a new console generation, is that they've got these custom chips and they can go in there and tweak them to relieve issues that people have been having. So it's really pretty cool. So I have been looking forward to this for a long time, and we shall see what difference it makes when you don't have those things, because it will still render at 4K and then shrink it down to 1080, which if you've ever done that with a piece of footage or seen a 4K movie on a regular TV screen, it looks pretty amazing. It's called super sampling, and they just take all that quality and squish it down to half the size. So I'm going to unbox this thing. If you're paying attention to this stuff at all, you've probably seen it unboxed a million times. Major Nelson even kind of did the reverse, where he and one of the hardware team put together an Xbox One X. So if you haven't seen that, I definitely recommend checking it out, because it's pretty amazing the hardware know-it-all that they put into this thing. Being a long-time Apple user, I think of iPhones and iPods and how they cram all that technology in there and somehow keep it cool. And then they actually failed at that with the Mac Pro, where they found that they couldn't update it. They couldn't add Apple couldn't add a faster processor or faster graphics because they didn't have enough thermal window or whatever they call it. So here it's actually liquid cooled inside. And they have some crazy grading, which we won't be able to see. These samples of Xbox Live Gold, which of course I already have, and Xbox Game Pass, which I don't. So at some point I will need to dedicate a month and just say, okay, I'm going to play Game Pass games. or play them a lot more frequently so that I get that money's worth. Now, really the only special thing about the Scorpio edition is that it comes with a stand, and it has the little paint job that says Scorpio on it. So you can actually stand it vertically. You can buy one of these separately if you didn't get the Scorpio edition. And just like the Xbox One S, the X has the power supply built in. Another controller. My original Xbox One does not, of course, so it's laying here on the floor next to the power strip. I didn't really have a problem with that. I guess it all depends on what kind of entertainment center or what kind of setup you have. My entertainment center in the living room has plenty of room to hide things. If you go back there, it's a big mess, which I need to straighten up and use some cable ties, etc. Power cable, HDMI cable. And I'm definitely going to use this because it's 4K capable. Even though I don't have the 4K setup, I want to be using the right cable from the start. All right, now let's pull out the box. And if you haven't been following all this, it is really crazy that this thing is slightly, very, very slightly smaller than the Xbox One S. It's like bigger in one dimension and smaller than the other. And of course, it's much, much smaller than the 1980s VCR sized original Xbox One. All right, just gotta take it out of the wrapping here. And of course, I have not seen this thing in person yet. I've just been watching videos. So it's gonna be really cool to see what it looks like. There we go. It's got that new console smell. All right, so here it is. And of course, I think I will take the label off. Nice thing, I believe, about the S and the X is a physical push button. It's funny that Apple is going away from that. Way, way away from that. And there have been problems with the original Xbox One, you know, turning on randomly, or you bump it with an elbow or something and it turns on or off or whatever. So I'm actually really happy about a physical button. IR port. So I think now you have, well, since I guess about a year after launch, you have to assume that very few people have Kinect. So I think that's for remotes and stuff like that. Not really sure. But you might be able to see it does in fact say, sorry, I keep bumping the mic, Project Scorpio. And this thing is not light, but it is really small. And there's all the ports. I guess I don't know if that even matters to cover up the serial number. All right, and just to show you, the controller does in fact say Scorpio as well. I'm going to be using an Elite. I finally got an Elite. I'm trying to get used to this Elite controller though. It is not, I mean, I'm bumping the bumpers all the time. But this does in fact say Project Scorpio as well, right there in the middle in green. Good old Xbox green. All right, so that is the Xbox One X. Pretty small, especially when you compare it to its older, bigger brother. And I am looking forward to trying this thing out. Thanks for watching.